He's 100 years old, he's sharp as a tack, and he has lots of stories to tell. So he has been named the Grand Marshal for today's Memorial Day Parade. Quite fitting, I think. So we have folks here lined up. Getting a little breezy, I think you can tell by the sound of the wind blowing against the microphones. But there are folks who are lined up along DeMotte here, waiting for the parade to come by. Memorial Day, of course, got its start during the Civil War as Decoration Day, when folks would put flowers on the graves of soldiers who had died in the battles. After World War I, it became Memorial Day and was used as a way to honor American military dead in all wars. Let's see if I can give you a little panorama of what's going on here today. If you see in the distance there, the Memorial Park is where the ceremony is going to take place. Of course, the road is blocked off. I see more people lining the street to get a glimpse of the parade. I can hear the horns of the fire trucks. It is a gorgeous day, Franklin. God bless you. It's a gorgeous day, Franklin. If you can, try and make it out here. Although the road is closed, you'll have to park off of DeMotte and maybe on Amwell. But if you can make it here, you should try. If you live in the area, you can walk here. I would definitely do so. The parade's going to take about an hour. They're not expecting to start the ceremony until a little bit after 1:15. Again, the ceremony is going to feature speakers. We're going to be, well, not me, but people are going to be singing songs. And usually an X number of gun salute and playing taps. A special feature today scheduled is a 1 o'clock flyover by Coast Guard helicopters. That's always exciting to see. It's always a great parade. Great way to start off the summer. Of course, Memorial Day is the unofficial start of the summer season. I'm sure the folks at the shore are loving this day, although I suspect the water is still a little too cold. This is the day when there's no more free parking at the beach, no more just walking onto the beach. You've got to actually have a beach pass now until September. Now I'm hearing music. The Franklin High School Marching Band is scheduled to be part of the parade today, as well as a contingent from the Franklin High School Junior ROTC Warrior Battalion, as well as various groups. I know that there's the Canal Walk veterans will be here. They're always at these at Memorial Day and Veterans Day, those kind of ceremonies. The Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the various troops. We have a number of different troops of Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts in town. They're scheduled to be walking today. There'll be some representatives of the Township Republicans and Township Democrats. If you watched us on Friday, I believe it was, we had a nice interview, live interview with Bob LaCourte, who is the organizer, main organizer of the parade, has been. He told us on Friday this is the 20th year that he's been doing this. 20 years he's been organizing the Memorial Day parades. I think one of his favorite things about the parade is, aside from the Canal Walk veterans, is the antique cars that will be coming in. I believe this year they're going to be coming in near the end of the parade. There's also going to be obviously representation from our first responders from the Franklin Township Police and various fire and rescue squad companies that we have in town. They'll be out here with their apparatus, making lots of noise. The sirens are getting louder and louder. Going to be a great day for barbecuing, I'll tell you that. It's a little windy out, but that will dissipate any kind of heat that might be generated by the sun. There's no real humidity today. It's a very nice day. It's a gorgeous day. It's the typical spring day in New Jersey. Beautiful day for a parade, beautiful day for baseball, as some folks would say. I believe we're also going to be, in addition to the Democrat and Republican clubs, we're also going to be visited by some politicians, some elected politicians. I believe Assemblyman Joe Danielson will be here on his bicycle, I'm told. Reminding those of us who have bicycles sitting and getting dusty in garages that we need to get on our bikes. Something the township does that's really nice every year around this time. And again, it may be hard to see. On the telephone poles, they place American flags all up and down DeMont. It's very nice. Very nice to see. I'm going to try and zoom in on some of this stuff. There's some folks who are patiently awaiting the start of the parade. Some more folks over there. Oh, here we go. Excuse me while I cough. Excuse me. Gosh. All right. You can't see it yet, but there is a squad car coming up the street. Very slowly. Very slowly. Okay. And the second squad car is in sight. Let's give you a view of the whole scene right now. Yeah, the wind is kicking up. I believe I see a motorcycle cop. It's probably going to be another few minutes before we see the actual body of the parade. So if there's something you want to do, grab a beverage, flip a burger, roll a hot dog, go ahead and do it. Well, we just wanted to make sure that we were broadcasting to you before the parade started. Now, at the conclusion of the parade, there's going to be a ceremony, as I said, at the Veterans Memorial Park, which is the park right in front of the municipal building here on Demont Lane. It's the one with the obelisks honoring the various service branches in the country. We're gonna pick up our operation and walk over there, so it's going to look a little jiggly for a few minutes as I walk on across the street and over and get set up over there. But we'll give you that. One of the highlights of that ceremony is the veterans can now walk, and other veterans, if they so choose, to ringing the bell. I guess it's the Freedom Bell over there at the Memorial Park, in honor of those American military who died in wars. I'm hearing drums from a marching band, I believe. So like I said, it's going to be a few minutes before they get here. So if there's something you need to do, go ahead and do it. Make sure you come back. Don't turn off your phone or your tablet or your computer, because you're going to want to see this if you can't make it here. This is a town happening. It's a town highlight. I think you can hear the drums as well, the timpani from the marching band. Parades like this are close to my heart. I had several relatives who were killed in World War II. One somewhat famously made it into a spread in Life magazine of May of 1945. He was killed a couple weeks before the war in Europe ended, in Germany. And there's a street in front of the building where he was killed, a street named after him in his honor by the people of Leipzig. All the relatives who served in World War II thankfully weren't killed. Unfortunately, I have one uncle who was a POW for a while. And my dad was in the Army for over 22 years. I was born on a military base, actually, so you can call me an Army brat. It's one of the nicer things you can call me. I believe now I'm seeing a fire truck coming up. And they're moving slowly because people have to walk. And they gotta make accommodation for that. I don't know who that person standing in the street is, but I guess it's a photographer who's trying to get a good shot. Come.
Oh, good. How are you?
There they come. Now, in past years, the firemen have been known to throw candy from the fire truck, so we'll see if that tradition follows through or not. Trees are blowing. Everybody loves a parade, right? All right, Franklin, it's gonna get loud here in a couple seconds. The Township Antique Fire Truck. Plaque on the fire truck says 1958 from Middlebush Volunteer Fire Company. And now police on guard. First walkers are from the office of Assemblyman Joe Danielson. Is he on his bike? He is on a bike. Oh, it's not really a bicycle, he's cheating. He's on motorbikes. Here we have the first of the antique cars, holding the Grand Marshal. Michelle Markers. Members of the Franklin Township Council. There's Mayor Phil Kramer. Mayor Kramer, have anything to say to the folks?
Happy Memorial Day. Day of Remembrance.
Great, thank you. Mayor Kramer is himself a veteran of the U.S. Air Force. Some more, we have Councilman Onyejiaka, Councilwoman Francois, Councilman Valsanella, Marine Honor Guard. Oh, I'm sorry, Somerset County Sheriff's Office Honor Guard, excuse me. Somerset County Sheriff Canine Unit. Not sure which canine that is, but they're all good boys. And another car from the Sheriff's Somerset County Sheriff's Office. Of course, the sheriff is. Oh, it's another canine unit. Sheriff is, of course, Franklin's own Darren Russo, retired Franklin Township Police officer, lieutenant actually. Here we have a contingent. You can hear them from the Franklin Township High School Junior ROTC Warrior Battalion. Being led by school board members Lori Maris and Bill Grippo. That was exciting. Little break in the action here. That reminded me of when I was a kid. We lived on what used to be Fort Monmouth in Monmouth County. And go on the main base, see the soldiers drilling. This was during the Vietnam War. Yeah, I'm old. Sounds like we have a marching band approaching. Yep, that's the Warrior Marching Band. Playing an old George M. Cohan song. Grand old flag. Parade's not over yet, folks. We still have more participants. Hard to be in a marching band and a military drill team on Memorial Day. I'm seeing a float. I'm not sure who it is. Seeing a bunch of dogs that are lining the parade limits with their humans, and I gotta say they've all been very good boys and girls. You would think that all the stimulation would be exciting them, but no, they're actually quite chill. Here we have the first of our Girl Scout troops. Troop 693, 60093.
Big
And we're about to find out what this float is as the wind kicks up once again. This is Boy Scout. '50th anniversary of the moon landing, July 20, 1969. Lunar landing module on their float, shooting off steam.
Yes, it is.
Very inventive. I was a Boy Scout for about 10 minutes. I just could not get those knots. Couldn't do it.
That's why it was recognized.
Yeah, we have, looks like Wiblos. Wiblos and maybe Cub Scouts from St. Matthias. Of course, Wiblos meaning we'll be loyal Scouts. Looks like we're next up is one of the township's dance studios, Modern Motion, out of Middlebush. Again, Franklin, at the conclusion of this parade part of the observance, I'm going to be picking everything up and walking across the Mott over to the Veterans Memorial Park where the actual ceremony is going to be taking place. So, like I said, it's going to look a little jiggly until I get over there. I'll try not to trip. I've done that. I have actually done that. But, yeah. And more sirens.
I'm sorry.
I think they're gonna do it.
Oh, beautiful, far spacious sky, around the waves of
We have a group representing SIWA, which is you'll see them all over the place, no pun intended, at various activities in the township. They're always volunteering, always lending a helping hand. So they've raised food for the food bank, they've raised money for different organizations, they've just been there to help. Very nice club. Here we have the Democratic Club. Ron Jordan, the chairman of the Township Democrats. Somebody coming up on an ATV, I'm not sure who. That's the Township Republican Club. Here we have our classic and antique automobiles. That's the Canal Walk veterans right there. There's a nice one, look at that. I know nothing about cars. Look at this one. Holy moly. Okay. That's neither classic nor antique. And here we have our first responders. And it's probably going to get noisy again, Franklin. And they're still coming. Elizabeth Avenue contingent. East Millstone First Aid Squad. And again, Franklin, hang on. At the end of the parade, I'm going to pack everything up, or actually pick everything up, and walk on over to Veterans Memorial Park, which is where the ceremony is going to be held. So don't go away, just hang tight. Like I said, it's going to be a little jiggly as I carry the camera across the street, but we will, Millstone Valley and Franklin Township Police. Gently carried across the street, I should say. Looks like they've opened up the road. That's going to be fun. All right, here we go, Franklin. Come along for the ride. There's a little view of
Only have one more class to do. We put them in the...
Making our way to the Veterans Memorial Park.
Where was that before? I just found it in my email. See all the people that showed up for the parade today. Many of whom are also walking over to the park. We're going to try to get as good a spot as we can. All right. Folks already seated. Seems they made it over in one piece. Straighten the camera a little bit. All right, Franklin, here we are at Veterans Memorial Park. Again, where the ceremony is going to take place. And right over here is where the, I guess it's called the Freedom Bell is. And that's where, at the conclusion of the ceremony, I believe, you can now walk veterans and other veterans who want to will walk over and ring the bell. See if I can get a little close up on that. Yeah. Pastor, how are you?
Say hello, how are you?
How are you?
Hi, Phil. How are you?
I'm well, how are you? We're live on Facebook right now. Okay. There's Mayor Kramer. Let's take a little wide shot so you can see everything going on. As usual, the MC, I believe, is Lieutenant Commander Steve Gillooly of the U.S. Coast Guard Reserve, I believe. As I mentioned, Mayor Kramer is a veteran of the U.S. Air Force. He actually flew B-52s, I think he said. It was B-52 or B-29, but I believe it was B-52 during the Cold War.
Check one.
And it looks like we're getting ready to get started with the ceremony. All right, Franklin. I don't know who the tall gentleman is at the podium, but the woman is, of course, is Nancy LaCourte, wife of Bob LaCourte, but also the president of the Franklin Township School Board, Board of Education, as we like to say, formally. Now, I do believe on the program with the singers is the Franklin Reporter's own PJ Parker, which is why I'm doing this and she's not. Normally she'd be out in front of the camera guiding you through everything, but since she, you know, PJ is a jazz singer, she's got several jazz CDs out there on Amazon. PJ Parker. I guess this would be as good a time as any. I just saw Nick DeMeglia, who's the president of the Franklin Township Chamber of Commerce. This would be as good a time as any to mention that the Franklin Reporter and Advocate is the 2023 Small Business of the Year, as awarded by the Chamber of Commerce earlier this year in their annual gala. So we're very appreciative for that acknowledgement. And if you didn't know it, come August 29th, we'll mark our 10th year as the Franklin Reporter and Advocate online. We started August 29th, 2013, and the monthly report newspaper has been in existence for about 4 or 5 years now, I believe. 5 years. That was started in November, so this November will mark the end of the 5th year. This has been a labor of love, Franklin. This is what we do. We enjoy it. I believe that noise you hear is the Coast Guard helicopter flyover.
There it is.
Oh, there it is. Red and white colors of the Coast Guard. People seem to love helicopters. Going to reposition myself a little bit here, Franklin. I don't want to get in the way of the honor guard.
How you doing?
I'm well, Sarge. How you doing?
Yeah, I was going to ask if you can move.
Yeah, not a problem.
I don't want to step on his
Gotcha.
You start every 2 years. What you meant?
Sergeant Blabay of the Junior ROTC from Franklin High School, getting everything organized. There's a pretty decent turnout here. Get a little bit of an angle there. The flags representing the various military branches will be raised during the ceremony.
Yeah, he's coming down, so you guys gonna have to give him some space. Okay, so we can start. Stay right here. Well, just have him stay. Just have him stay. Just have him stay. Yes.
Can we keep him right here for 1 minute?
1 minute, then we'll. You ready, Bo? Go. Good afternoon, everyone.
And
Thanks
here we
very
go.
much for coming to our 2023 Franklin Township Memorial Day celebration or recognition ceremony. We have a lot planned for today, so let me just give you a couple of quick things before we get started. From housekeeping, the municipal building is open. If anyone feels warm or needs to cool off in any way, please use the lobby for a cooling zone. There's also seating in there, and there's water available if you need it. First, a quick thanks to our shipmates from Air Station Atlantic City. That was Coast Guard Station Atlantic City doing the flyover for us this afternoon. And a quick reminder that today's ceremony is a bit of a somber one. Memorial Day is not a celebration as much as it is a recognition for the military men and women who have lost their lives in service of our country. So although it is the unofficial start of summer, which we do love to celebrate, and it's a gorgeous, beautiful day that we get to celebrate with our community, we take a moment now to just remember all the people who gave the ultimate sacrifice so that we could have the liberty to have days like today. So with that, why don't we get started? I'd like to welcome Mayor Phil Kramer to say a couple words and welcome our color guard.
Thank you. Thank you all. Mr. Mockers is here. He's a centenarian who was in the French Revolution, French Resistance in World War II, and recently received the Legion of Honor. Why don't we have him seated? The color guard can come forward. the seat of honor. And if the color guard could post colors, present colors.
Color guard, attention! Carry colors! Forward! March! Face! Present colors!
And now the honor guard could post colors.
Order! Arms! Forward! March! Color guard! Mark time! Mark! Color guard! Halt! Color guard! Dismiss!
So I wrote a speech, I spent some time on it. It allowed me to remember the friends that I lost when I was flying B-52s in the Air Force. Friends that are deep in my heart. I was all ready to give it, and then Cory Booker sent me an email this morning. Me and 100,000 of his closest friends. And it just says what I wanted to say, but much more eloquently, so I'd like to read that. Countless Americans of every color and creed have made the ultimate sacrifice in the defense of our nation. Today, I hope they will join me in honoring their sacrifice and their dedication and their love for our country. Each sacrifice leaves behind a family, friends, and a community with a prominent void. I'm keeping all of them close to my heart. We drink from the well of freedom and liberty that we did not dig. There is no commensurate repayment for those who gave their lives to defend our country. So instead, we must take their sacrifice to heart and pay it forward to make this a country that they would be proud to defend. Patriotism is love of country, and that love manifests itself in service, in sacrifice, an ultimate act of love for your country and your fellow countrymen and countrywomen. May we be proven worthy of that in our continued service to this great nation. Have a blessed Memorial Day. May God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Would the RTC cadets please stand by the service flags for the raising? One of the traditions of Memorial Day is that every Memorial Day at 10 o'clock in the morning, we lower the American flag to half staff, and then at noon it's raised again to full staff to recognize all the lost service members. So symbolically, we have all of the service flags here in the plaza lowered, and we're going to ask the RTC to please raise them briskly to full staff when they are ready. And with that, I'd like to invite forward the Franklin High School Band members, and I think we're going to have the Canal Walk veterans lead us in the national anthem. Is that correct? RTC, are you ready? Please raise the flags. Or not? Canal Walk veterans, could you please help me by raising the service flags behind you? Just step behind the stones there and just raise the service flags to the top. Thank you. Your service has never ended. Are we ready? Anthony Holly, if you could come forward, please. Anthony's with Franklin High School, and he's going to sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight on the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you very much, Anthony. Well done. Now I'd like to recognize all of our Canal Walk veterans who have joined us here today. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming, and we recognize your service and thank you for your continued service. And we also like to thank the Franklin High School Junior ROTC and all their members. I have a list here, and I'll try to thank specifically Cadets Marilyn Vargas, Emily, Julian, Maldonado, Fanil Patel, under the direction of Sergeant First Class Daniel Bobet and Major Jacqueline Vasquez. Thank you very much for your help this morning, or this afternoon. And now I'd like to welcome up Pastor George Montanari from Middlebush Church for the invocation. Please rise.
Would you please bow with me in prayer? Eternal God, we gather before you once again in solemn national remembrance of those who, while wearing the uniforms of our nation's armed services, have passed on before us. We salute their service and gratefully celebrate the freedoms they have earned for us. We also mourn their absence and hold their memories dear by paying tribute to their noble selflessness and heroic sacrifices. We thank you for them and for their families who have stood behind them in support and who have shared their sacrifices. Inspire us, we pray, by their memory. May their commitment to serve our country deepen our own patriotism. May their commitment to serve a cause larger than themselves help us set aside any inclination toward selfishness, whether personal or national. May their commitment to fight for the democracy enshrined in our Constitution deepen our own preservation of it, both at home and abroad. May the tight bonds of their fellowship as comrade-at-arms inspire the very best of us in caring for, protecting, and serving our neighbors. May their example of sacrifice help us set aside any complacency or hesitancy from taking our own place in serving today's national and common good. And God, on this Memorial Day weekend, as we remember our departed uniformed service members who have died to protect our nation and its citizens, we also remember other overlapping circles of national grief, of those lost to gun violence, to hate crimes, to fentanyl and other substance abuse, to other losses too numerous to be named by our lips but known so deeply in our hearts. On this weekend of national remembrance, shadowed by these other national griefs, we ask that you heal our hearts, increase our wisdom, and help us mend our ways. spark the flames of gratitude in our hearts for the freedoms we enjoy, which soldiers, sailors, aviators, and Marines have given their all to preserve for us, and help us use those freedoms wisely. And leaning upon your divine favor and grace, we pray earnestly for that day when neither nation nor neighbor shall lift up arms against another, yearning for that day of your eternal peace. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, Pastor. I'd like to recognize, please be seated. Please, I'd like to recognize some of our distinguished guests today, and let me apologize to our guests. We have a few, and if I miss anyone, please come up later and we'll recognize you then. First, welcoming Assemblyman Joe Danielson, also an Army veteran. Joe. Please join me in thanking Sheriff Darren Russo and his color guard that were here today, his K-9 unit, the PR unit, and their UTV also here today. Of course, welcome Mayor Phil Kramer, Deputy Mayor Rahm, Council members Kimberly Francois, former member Raj Sherman, Jim Vasanella, Charles Onijaka, and I think I got everyone that was here from Council. If I missed anyone again, I apologize. Our Board of Education, please welcome President Nancy LaCourte, Laurie Morris, and Bill Grippo. From our FHS Band, Director Dan Burrs, and from JROTC, Sergeant First Class Samuel Bobet. Also a quick thanks to the members of our Parks and Rec team that put all of this together. Everything that works here today is because of them. Janet Tamari, Maria Duenas, and Larissa Ford for putting together the parade route. Seaway International for the memorial program, the water, the chairs, and the programs. I'll go through some of my notes here, see if I've missed anyone else. I probably have. Well, with that, let me move on to the next section. I'd like to introduce now our Grand Marshal for today, Monsieur Michel Mucker, escorted today by the Franklin JROTC. Oh, please sit. Here. Please sit.
I am especially talking because I'm very, very, you cannot know what it is for me to be with you today. Because for several months I have kept a gun and I had 1,800 men that I was in charge of to help you on the D-Day, to help you to slow down the German, to bother the German. We were going in Germany. So I know, for me, you cannot imagine, you have no idea of what it could be for me today that among you gentlemen. And even if you were, I'm sorry to say that I'm older than you are, and you were in fact we were a little younger than that, but you represent for me the vet that I met when I was at the Liberation, when I saw the army that was going to fight Germany. And I tell you, monsieur, I cannot have more, once more, be more, how can I say that? You see, my heart is doing that. Because it's the first day, the very first day, maybe the last day, I'm sorry, to meet the vet of the American army that I fought for when they were going on D-Day. And I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
I was telling Mr. Markers my French is terrible. Mr. Markers was a World War II veteran and French resistance fighter, honored by the French government with the French Legion of Honor by the Consul General, Mr. Robert of New York, just recently. So it's quite a distinguished person to have here with us, and a Franklin Township resident. So we're very happy to have him here. I'm also a little honored to introduce a friend of mine, one of my colleagues at the Coast Guard, Chief Noto from Recruiting Command Newark, who's going to talk a little bit about his experience in the Coast Guard and one of our Coast Guard, one of the Coast Guard members that we always remember on Memorial Day. Chief?
Good afternoon, everybody. Can everybody hear me okay? Appreciate you guys having me today. This is an awesome event. You guys seem like a very tight-knit and amazing community, so thank you. My name is Chief Chris Noto. I've been in the Coast Guard for 15 years now. I joined right out of high school, and I was kind of a weirdo. I told my recruiter, I want to go to Alaska. Can you make that happen? He said, absolutely. So they sent me right to Kodiak, Alaska, where I did patrols all the way up to the Arctic Circle. I'm sure most of you know about the Deadliest Catch. I used to go out there and sail around with those crazy people. I did that for a couple of years, and Coast Guard sent me to New York City. So I went to New York City and I did search and rescue for the harbor. We're close enough for everybody to know that that's a very, very busy harbor. So that definitely kept me occupied. I did that for about not quite 4 years and missed the ocean. I missed deploying. So I took orders to the Coast Guard Cutter Dependable, where I spent 3 of the most amazing years of my life chasing drugs in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific Ocean. So a lot of people probably don't even know what the Coast Guard is, but we are the nation's leaders in maritime search and rescue and law enforcement, and I got to experience that firsthand on that ship. I did over 20 counter narcotics interdictions, anywhere from 500 kilograms of cocaine all the way up to like 4,000. It was something that I didn't even really know too much about until I started doing it. It was a lot of fun. From there I went to New Haven, Connecticut, where I was a search and rescue controller for Long Island Sound. Again, kept me very, very busy. Now I have a family. I have 2 young kids, and was looking for something a little bit slower. So I took this job in recruiting, not realizing that that is not slower at all. It was very, very busy, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it. That's just a little bit about me and my time in the Coast Guard. Today's Memorial Day, so I'd like to take a moment to talk about one of our shipmates that we lost during the Operation Iraqi Freedom. So this is about Petty Officer 3rd Class Nathan Bruckenthal. He lost his life while doing oil security around Iraq. I would just like to read his Bronze Star citation. The President of the United States of America takes pride in presenting the Bronze Star with Combat V posthumously to Damage Controlman 3rd Class Nathan Bruckenthal, United States Coast Guard, for heroic achievement in connection with combat operations against the enemy while serving as a boarding officer with the USS Firebolt and the United States Coast Guard Law Enforcement Detachment 403 during Operation Iraqi Freedom on April 24, 2004. While patrolling the security zone around the Al Basra oil terminal in Iraq, Petty Officer Bruckenthal detected a small unidentified vessel proceeding towards the oil terminal. After maneuvering the tram to screen the oil terminal, Petty Officer Bruckenthal approached the vessel to investigate its actions. As the boarding team drew alongside the vessel, the attacker on board realized he had been discovered and detonated explosives packed on board, mortally wounding Petty Officer Bruckenthal. The explosion alerted all in the area to an ongoing coordinated attack, allowing security forces to destroy 2 additional explosive-laden vessels, thereby preventing massive casualties, irreversible environmental damage, and the destruction of the Iraqi people's major economic lifelines. By his zealous initiative, courageous actions, and exceptional dedication to duty, Petty Officer Bruckenthal reflected great credit upon himself and upheld the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard and the United States Naval Service. So Memorial Day is to honor people like him. It's been said a bunch of times now. Today is for those who didn't make it home. So figured I would share that with you, and I guess that's pretty much all I got. So I will leave you with saying thank you again and Semper Paratus.
Thank you, Chief. And if you want to know how small the Coast Guard is, when Chief and I first started putting this together, inevitably you have a conversation of, so why do I know your name? Where have you been? And then, yes, we both worked up at Sector New York together at the same time. So it's a small service. So with that, I'd like to also bring up now Eric Hasner, the commander of Canal Walk Veterans, to say a few words and then lead the veterans in the ringing of the bell.
Hello there. As a combat veteran of the Vietnam War, this day
is memorial to me, and it's very dear to my heart. It's not about myself. It's about all those who I've seen die in Vietnam, those that I carried to safety to be taken home and buried at home. It's about them, okay? And remembering them gives me an incredible emotion. That's the time, fortunately, where I spend part of my life. I am pleased to see the mayor here and Bob the court holding this remembrance for all of us and for our guys and those who never made it home. Okay. I also thank all the good folks that came here, that you all came here to honor those who gave it all. And I thank you for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commander Kasner, for that. And with that, I'd like to invite PJ Parker from the Franklin Reporter to come up and sing God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you, PJ. And now I'd like to invite the Canal Walk veterans to please come forward and ring the memorial bell here. And also any other veterans, thank you, Bob, for reminding me. Any other veterans here, if you are present, you are welcome to come forward as well and ring the bell with the Canal Walk group. Thank you very much, Kanawha veterans. And now, as one of our final moments of today, we're going to have the playing of taps. As you know, the playing of taps is what you think of when you think of a military funeral, but it used to be just a common bugle call at the end of the day. It meant lights out. But it came, after World War I, it came to be known for being used at funerals, especially military funerals. So today on Memorial Day, we wanted to, as you hear this played by our two bugle players from the Franklin High School Band, Daniel Quisbert and James Wong, please think of all of the service members that have lost their lives in service to our country. If you guys would step forward. Thank you very much. Now would the color guard please retire the colors? And one final thanks to all of our people who put together today's event, and especially the people I forgot, including Myra Jimenez. Thank you for your work. Thank you to the Franklin High School music program for TAPS and for the program. Thank you, Bob LaCourte and Nancy LaCourte, for organizing all of this. I don't know if you know Bob, but if you were in today's parade, I'm sure you do know Bob, because he's the one who calls everybody and gets them to come out. So thanks, Bob. This is his 20th year of putting together this parade for Franklin.
Wow.
And always, let's thank our Blue Star and Gold Star families for all the service members around the world who serve today, including the service members who've lost their lives in service. This concludes our program for today. Thank you very much for coming out.
I just want everyone to thank Steve Kahuli, who's done this year after year after year. He does a great job.
I forgot to thank Tony Martin from Parks and Recreation. Thank you, Tony, for setting this up as well. There's 1,000 people I probably forgot.
Good job.
Okay, Franklin, that is going to wrap up our coverage of today's Memorial Day parade and commemoration. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you stood around for the whole thing, because it was quite memorable. This is Bill Bowman from the Franklin Reporter and Advocate.